I'm your host, John MacKenzie. Thank you for joining me once again on my channel on data engineering. In this episode, we're going to take a look at SQL Express, which is a full SQL server with some load limitations that you can use for free in your projects, whether you're building, a full website or you want to upsize your Access database to a more robust platform. SQL Express has many uses, and I would definitely say this is a tool that you need in your toolkit. Now you can put SQL Express on your own computer and you can do all kinds of development on it, just as if you were doing development on a full SQL server, whether that was a small one or a really big, robust one on lots of hardware or something like that. And so the real benefit of it is that you get used to being able to deploy your applications in a real, robust production environment. So it might be that Access backend that you want to have that's a lot more robust than what you have right now, or you could be developing applications for Azure and you're using your Visual Studio, but you don't want to connect out to the internet for all of your development. You just want to develop it locally because SQL Server in SQL Express is fully compatible with Azure databases, and so you can develop your application completely on your local computer, and then when you're ready, deploy everything into Azure in the cloud. Now for all my future Access developers out there, definitely you want to have SQL Express in your toolkit. I cannot stress how important this tool is. Let's get to it. Looking for more interesting content in this area? Make sure to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. Okay guys, so this is a fun one today. This has got to be one of the best downloads you can possibly get, especially if you are an Access developer and you can put this on your local machine, or if you're a .NET developer, being able to put it locally or onto a server of its own, you can do that too. It's just such an awesome thing. And basically all you need to do is download it. So look for that Microsoft link. The one that comes up here is SQL Server Express 2019, and it'll take you to a page. You can actually use the earlier versions too. They're also pretty awesome. Each version has new features and things like that. I'm gonna just download this one, and it gives you sort of like the download the download program that's going to sort of like take care of everything as you make your installation. And of course downloading the actual installation is part of that. But what we're going to do here is we have a choice between basic and custom, and I would always recommend to use the custom, especially if you're an Access developer and you want to have more than one instance of SQL Express on your machine, because you can have many instances of it running, which can give you different environments and all kinds of things like that. And so we want a little more control over what's happening. And so you can specify your installation directory there, and you'll get a choice of whether you want to install or go back to the previous. And what we're going to do is we're just going to choose install, and then it's going to give us some it'll download it, and then we're going to have some options for installation. We're going to take advantage of some of those options because it'll really help you to make your installation in a way that is useful for whether or not you use Windows authentication or just using a username and password from SQL Server and those kinds of things. Because there are many ways to deploy applications out in the wild, and for most of the purposes that for Access developers or .NET developers, you want to have the option to use either of those scenarios. Okay, so once download is complete, you will see this little pop-up screen, and this is the same screen that's been around forever and ever with SQL Server. It's awesome. It gives you these options, and what we're going to do is we're going to use that one on the top. But we're also going to install this one in the middle called Install Management Tools, and you could use the reporting services, which is super powerful for delivering reports to users over the internet. if you wanted to. So there's lots of good stuff here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take that first option at the top, install a new instance, and we'll look at the agreement there. We'll say OK, and then we're sort of into the installation process. And so you can choose whether or not to use Microsoft Windows Update and things like that, and you can kick it off. It's going to start the process where it's going to scan for product updates and downloading and extracting and doing the installation. And you could actually receive some errors there if there are some problems, but most of the time you will not. And then you'll sort of see that it's working away here, and that's what we want to see. And so just let the process finish here. It will take you eventually to a screen that looks kind of like this. There we go. And it's going to say, whether or not you passed certain tests and things like that. In this case, it looks like we're good to go. And, I've got a firewall warning there. And you can check those either before or after your installation. But here's where you're going to choose all of the options for your, the start of the options for your server. So there's your instance root directory. You can change those things. And also you can choose all kinds of different options that are available for SQL Express. In my particular installation, I'm not going to use a lot of these, but some of these are really great, like the client tools connectivity and all that kind of stuff is really great to have. And I'm going to just say go ahead and install, and we'll see where that goes. And then you'll end up on a screen like this one, and you'll see you have an option for a default instance or a named instance, and I would always recommend that you choose a named instance. And that's because if you want to have more than one instance on your computer, it's very specific to have your named instances there. If you choose the default one, you can connect just using the computer name, but it's not quite as clear as saying I want the computer name and then this instance. And so I would definitely recommend put your own instance name in there, and then you can have more instances if you would like to. Then you'll see a screen like this one with all of the accounts and things on it. You can just hit next on that, and then on this screen what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the authentication first. We're not really going to look at those additional tabs, but we're going to choose mixed mode, and we're going to put a nice strong password on there. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to either use Windows authentication to administer or be the administrator for the server, or you can specify a username and password for the SA login, that's Sierra Alpha. And what that's going to do is that it gives you flexibility for connecting to your server. Make sure to put a really good strong password on when you create that SA password, and that'll help with your security. And so you can see this is sort of chugging away here. You may receive messages that you need to restart during the process. So that could be depending on the configuration of your computer and things like that. If you receive other errors, make sure to check those out. Sometimes it doesn't make it all the way through, but most of the time you should get a clean installation, and you can start using your SQL Server when it has installed. And so what you're going to see is a success message at the end. You might see some more bullets there depending on what's already installed on your computer, but in general, once you're done there, you are good to go. And so now we have our server installed, and it's a full SQL Server. And but we need a way to manage it and to create our databases other than the command line, which you can use. You can do all of your configuration work and things like that, and creating databases straight from the command line without using your SQL Server Management Studio. But the Studio makes things much more easy to do, and I would highly recommend that you download it. It is also free. So when you click that link, you're going to get something that looks like this, and you'll get a page with the SSMS download. Grab the latest one there and download it. It is a fantastic tool, and you will be able to use this tool not only in your SQL Express that you're installing right now, but also to manage full SQL servers, or you can use it to manage all of your Azure databases, like I showed in a previous episode when we were building a web forms application. So SSMS is definitely a tool you guys want to have. Once you use it, you will never go back to using other tools. So get that downloaded, and it has an installation file just like we had for SQL Express. And you can take the default parameters there, unless you want to install it differently on your computer, depending on how you've configured your computer. And so you'll see your installation blasting through here. It's going to download and install a few things depending on what you've already got on there, and so the process will sort of give you not just the package process but the overall process there, and so you'll see how much time is left on the download and install. And so when it's done, you'll see that the overall progress is complete there. And then you'll get another screen here that says you need a restart. So I would go ahead and do a restart. That'll actually be good anyway, since you just installed the server as well. And when you reboot, then you're going to have both of these great tools ready to rock and roll on your computer. And in your start menu, you're going to see something like this after you reboot. You'll see an icon that looks kind of like that, and it says SQL Server Management Studio. And that's what you want to use. You can start that one up, and once you click on that, you'll see something like this firing up on your computer, and that's the splash screen for Management Studio, and it'll take a minute to load. It is a fairly big program, but it has so many great features. It is definitely worth it for any database developer. And you'll see it start up something like this, and you can see it's already detected the instance that I created, because my computer's name is Triton, and the instance name is Triton/2019X that you saw there. And so if I'm using Windows authentication, which was set up, I just hit connect, and that's what I did there. Was I didn't even put anything in, because it knew from my Windows that I could get in here. And you can see there's all kinds of things in here. There's a database section, and there's security and all kinds of other stuff. And we can just right click on databases, and we can go new database, and then we can put our test database in there if we want, and just take the default options, and then suddenly we have a database in our SQL Express, which is great. So now we could do a new query. Now make sure when you click on new query that you have the test database selected in the left, because it'll create the context and connect your worksheet to it. And then you can go ahead and you can do stuff like do a create table statement, which is fairly simple. Now you can also do this through the visual interface. I'm doing this on a worksheet, but you can also, you can do the column design just like you can for, say, Microsoft Access, using the plus beside the test database there, and you can put in your data types and all that kind of stuff. But for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little create table statement, and that first bit that I did there, where I said ID integer not null identity 11 primary key, that creates basically an auto number field if you're an Access developer, where you can just insert into text stuff, and it will create a new identity for each row. So all I'm going to do is I created a simple little table with one text field and a date stamp, and then I hit F5 to execute that. And now you can see, after I refresh the tables, you can see that I have a new table here. So there we go. I can put some cool stuff in my text, and because the date stamp has a default and the ID is an auto number, those will automatically update. They don't show immediately in the modify view here, but if I go and I won't save that, but I'll just say right click and select top 1000 rows. You can see now the IDs were inserted, and so were the date stamps, which were the defaults for those. And there's our text stuff field there that has all kinds of data in it. And so that's really great. That's how we can set up that SQL Server Express, and it is super powerful. I hope to see you guys using it. And just before I go, I'm going to show you how to alternately log in. So we're going to click that disconnect button. So that disconnects. You should do that every time you're working with your server. Disconnect at the end of your work and then connect. And this time we're going to choose SQL Server Authentication, which is different. So in this case, I have to put in a username and a password, which is an alternate way to log in. And you can make many users that are not connected to Windows. So for example, if you have your own application and you want different permissions for different users, then you might use the SQL Server logins to manage that instead of Windows or Active Directory. And so a lot of people might really choose that, and you can see how flexible that might be. And so if you guys are interested in more topics in this area, make sure to put your comments in the comment section below. Looking for additional resources for your project? Make sure to check out the additional links in the description.